Hello, and congratulations on being a Turtlebug Camper Hammock Stand owner. Today, we're going to walk you through setting it up for the first time out of the bag. You will only have to do most of these things one time. After these initial steps are complete, you'll be able to get that awesome 60-second setup time from here on out. We'll show you the correct process for putting Turtlebug away and setting it up in 60 seconds at the end of this video. We're doing something unique today. Usually I am behind the camera and Cal is demonstrating. However, we switched places today so you could see what the first time setting up Turtlebug looks like. That's right, I've watched Cal set it up plenty of times, but have never actually set Turtlebug up myself before. We switched places to give you a transparent picture of an awkward first-timer. The first time isn't supposed to be super smooth, but rest assured that with practice it will get easier and easier. As always, we highly recommend setting your Turtlebug up at home first, so you can make sure you have all the parts and pieces and that you feel comfortable with your setup before you're out in the wilderness. Let's see what's in the bag. 2 Turtlebug hubs with wires and baby carabiners already attached. 2 daisy chain straps. 2 tarp extension poles. 2 small hitch pins for your tarp extension poles. 2 plastic bags with wires and stops. We'll get to those later. And lastly, all your Turtlebug poles. Let's get started. If you choose, remove the protective wrapping from the poles. The purpose of this was to protect your stand during ocean transit. Please note, it is very common for your stand to have small blemishes like this in the anodizing. A blemish like this will not affect the longevity or structure of your Turtlebug stand. If it bothers you, take a couple steps backwards and you won't even be able to see it. If it really bothers you, a black Sharpie will erase it from your memory for good. Honestly, we hope your Turtlebug gets many more markings or memories from all your hammocking adventures. Once you have all the poles revealed, take stock. You should have 2 thick poles, 4 segments each. These will connect together to make your ridge pole. Then, you should have 4 medium-sized leg poles, 4 segments each, with rubber feet and a white Yobo Gear logo on the bottom. Finally, you should have 2 skinny stabilizer poles, also with rubber feet on the bottoms. Now let's put it all together. Grab a hub and let's get oriented. The 3 holes at the bottom of the hub are for the 2 legs and stabilizer. The small hole on top is for your tarp extension pole. The big hole underneath the hook is for your ridge pole. These green pieces of plastic are holding the elastic cordage in place. Now, pull the elastic slightly out of the ridge pole while leaving the cord stopper in place and clip it to the carabiner in the ridge pole hole of the hub. Only after the carabiner is clipped should you remove the cord stopper. Otherwise, you'll be fishing your elastic cordage out of the tubes. Once the cord stopper is removed, work the hub onto the end of the ridge pole. It may be a little tight and require some twisting. Then, find the other half of your ridge pole and connect it to the first one in the same manner. Clip the carabiner to the loop, then remove the green cord stoppers. Don't forget to put your cord stoppers back in the bag. You'll want those later. By the way, Jason Flowers at Walhalla Hammocks makes tiny zippered pouches which would be perfect to keep all of your cord stoppers in. Now, grab your other hub and attach it to the ridge pole the same way you did the first one. Now that your ridge pole is fully assembled and hubs are attached, it's time to move on to the legs and stabilizer poles. Remember, your load-bearing legs have the white Yobo Gear logo at the bottom of them. I like to leave the hubs on the ground for this step. Clip the legs on the outer 2 carabiners and the stabilizer pole to the middle carabiner. Then, remove those 3 cord stoppers. When you're done, you can insert the poles into the holes. If they don't go all the way in, no big deal. It is awkward at this angle on the ground and will be much easier when you stand everything up. Repeat this process on the other side of the stand and lift Turtlebug into a standing position. Now is a good time to make sure the legs are fully inserted into the hubs. That's it. Now your Turtlebug camper is assembled and you can attach your hammock. For this, you'll need your daisy chains that come included with your Turtlebug. Other tree straps will likely be too thick for the hub to properly bite and hold everything in place. Now there are many ways to do this, so I'll show you one method that doesn't require carabiners. Take a single loop in your daisy chain and loop it over the hook on your Turtlebug hub. Then slide the continuous loop of your hammock over the other end of your strap. Once it's on there, wrap another loop around the hook from the other direction. Make sure the hook is biting completely over both loops. Give the hammock a good tug to make sure it won't come loose. Then repeat on the other side. Time to check your work. Never ever just plop into your hammock. Always sit slowly, using your leg muscles to lower yourself down. This will ensure your safety and will prevent you from damaging your hammock or your stand. Once your full weight is seated in the hammock, rotate your feet in and relax. Wait a minute! Why is the stand rocking back and forth? Do I have a defective model? Did I put it together wrong? No. This is part of the Turtlebug design. Once you are laying in your hammock, your Turtlebug will settle to one side. This is the stabilizer pole in action. The majority of your weight is still on the 4 leg poles, and you are not in danger of falling. With the 4 legs plus one of the stabilizer poles, you actually have 5 points of contact with the ground. We promise, once you're snoozing in your hammock, you'll feel as secure as ever. Learn more about why we chose this design in this video, which we'll link here. If you like, you can minimize the settling motion of Turtlebug by scooching the legs in until the stabilizer pole rests on the ground. Yes, scooching is a technical term. Just make sure that when you do so, the stabilizer pole isn't lifting the legs off of the ground at all. Moving on, this next step is not necessary for most setup situations. However, if you're on very slippery floor, you can affix this tension cordage between the 2 legs to keep them from spreading apart. It could not be any easier to install. Just find the keyhole on the lower leg segments and insert one end of the wire into each leg. Remember, most of the time this is unnecessary. Also, disassembling your Turtlebug stand will be much easier with this tension cordage removed. Now, let's talk about disassembling your Turtlebug. In order to get that impressive 60-second setup time, there is a specific method to disassembling your stand. Don't worry, although specific, it is pretty easy. Remember, this is my first time attempting it. Cal was coaching me from behind the camera. Step 1. Remove both legs and the stabilizer pole from one of the hubs. Lay all 3 poles and the hub on the ground. Step 2. Count 4 segments into the middle of the ridgepole and pull it apart. Then lay that point on the ground. Step 3. Remove the legs and stabilizer pole from the other hub and fold the entire stand into a nice neat pile of poles. Step 4. Begin breaking down the poles 1 or 2 at a time. First in half, then in half again. If you want to take a couple inches off of your pack length, you can remove the hubs at this point too. However, it will increase your setup time later. Step 5. Grab your daisy chains and loop them together. We're going to make a little lasso to get the poles together. Keep the strap more on the hub side of the pile and pull it tight, compressing the poles together so they fit neatly in the bag. Step 6. Insert the hub ends first into the bag, zipping up from the bottom as you go. Be patient here. There is plenty of room in the bag, but it may require a little shifting and shimmying of the poles. That's it. Your Turtlebug is now ready for travel. For the grand finale of this setup video, I'm going to show you my 60-second setup. To be fully transparent, this was my third try. The first try took me 90 seconds, the second took 70 seconds. The charming third time, you'll see here, took me exactly 60 seconds. Luckily, Cal was a patient coach, and we both had a good sense of humor about it all. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock, and I'll show you how it's done. After unzipping the bag, grab the hub that is closest to you. Lift it all the way out and give it a little shake. This will help those legs put themselves together. Then guide the inserts into the holes on the hub. Next, help the ridge pull out of the bag, putting it together as you go. Once you reach the other hub, give that one a little shake too. Guide the inserts into the hub. And that's it, you're done. As you can see, I made it just in the nick of time. I will only get faster from here on out, and so will you. That concludes our Turtlebug tutorial. Check out our entire Turtlebug playlist to see how to hang different kinds of hammocks and rainflies and learn all of Turtlebug's other cool tricks. We are honored you chose a Yobo Gear hammock stand. Happy hammock camping to all of you. From Cal and Kristen.